Tyson Lee, a former walk-on, leads the Bulldogs into battle. This club tries desperately to win a road game. They've lost 6 straight away from Starkville, and a tough opener in this ballpark, no doubt about it. We will see Chris Welch. Dixon indeed gets the start, Dave. You talked about that earlier, and the first pass of the night from Lee is incomplete. Mississippi State offensively. You take a look at that line. It's been thinned by injury. Jenkins, the lone senior. Chad Bumpus made his debut in a big way from the H-back spot. He made 2 catches last week against Jackson State, both for touchdowns. 2nd and 10. Tyson changing things up at the line of scrimmage, and Dixon gets the call. Dixon brings it out to the 22-yard line, 3rd and long. Defensively, for the Auburn Tigers, keep your eye on this man, number 52, Antonio Coleman. What a player. We'll talk more about him. Stevens, Bynes, and Herring are the linebackers. And in the secondary, Zach Etheridge was the leading tackler from a year ago. And there is Antonio Coleman, the 5th-year senior from Mobile. On the edge and ready to come. Penalty flags. I believe Auburn jumped. Addison Lawrence, maybe the right tackle from Mississippi State. We'll see. Kenny Williamson and his crew have this one tonight.
Part of the snap. False start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Craig Jenkins was the guilty party. Dan Mullen looks to the play card.
The offensive coordinator at Florida. You'll see some similarities in his offense that Florida, what you see from the Gators. But remember, you got to play to your personnel, and he does not have that kind of personnel yet at Mississippi State. But we will see some similarities.
On 3rd and 11. Lee scrambling. Turns it at the 20. He's got to get to the 30, and he can make it only to the 29. Great coverage in the secondary. Tyson Lee had to scramble for his life ultimately before McFadden brought him down.
Well, that's a heck of an effort by Tyson Lee to try to keep this play alive. Auburn does an outstanding job of staying on coverage. Tyson Lee could not unload it, and then he almost made a superior athletic effort to get the first down, but good job to minimize damage on the scramble.
Heath Hutchins is the Mississippi State punter. Let's see how Mario Fannin fares returning punts tonight. He struggled last week. He'll fair catch this one at the 27. So each team gets it, and a couple of punts. We are underway from the Plains. Southeastern Conference football is brought to you by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. We welcome you back to Auburn, Alabama. Great to have you with us on this SEC Saturday night. David Archer is here. Jen Hildreth is down on the sidelines. Bob Rathman with you. No score, first period, and 11:24. You got a feel for anything yet, big fella?
No, we haven't seen enough yet. We do know that Gus Malzahn wants to go fast, and he's got some players that can make some big plays. We've seen the Fannin run already.
On the toss to McCaleb. Haven't seen Ben Tate carried yet. But McCaleb with the carry over the 36. And Zach Smith gets credit for the tackle.
Quick change of personnel now, and Auburn now shifts to a 3-wide receiver set, 2 backs.
When Darius Carr is in the game at the top of your screen, number 9. Over the middle and complete. Over midfield to the 48-yard line. Darvin Adams makes the grab.
Yeah, well-thrown ball here from Chris Todd. Just a deep in route to Darvin Adams. You see Fannin, 27, releases in the flat, pulls the linebacker out of coverage, and there's the throw right in behind the linebackers. Marcus Washington on the coverage. Outstanding throw there from Chris Todd.
third first down of the night for the Tigers. And McCaleb wrapped up right away by Charles Mitchell. Came in from his safety spot. Ontario McCaleb, the freshman from Fort Meade, Florida, had a marvelous night. In fact, the best night for a freshman runner since Bo Jackson in 1982.
He didn't miss a beat. Came in from high school, Hargrave, and went to Hargrave Military Academy. Went to high school in Florida at Fort Meade. 1,900 yards on the ground and 23 touchdowns. He didn't miss a beat when he became an Auburn Tiger.
2nd and 8 for Chris Todd, the senior from Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Hit as he throws, and the catch is made. And Adams will take it down to the 16. Well, Chris Todd did a great job hanging in there.
Yeah, get pressure off the edge. He slides up in the pocket like he's supposed to, and an outstanding touch throw over the underneath coverage and into Adams' hands, and a nice run after the catch by Adams. So 2 good throws from Todd over underneath coverage, dropping it in. He's on the mark here early.
Auburn driving. 1st and 10 at the Bulldog 16. Quarterback draw, and Todd to the 10.
Now, right now, Gus Malzahn, offensive coordinator, is dictating what's happening. They've been able to be successful on first down. Todd's on the mark. So now quarterback draw, a call that completely caught Mississippi State off guard for a nice pickup on first down.
Now Cody Burns comes in at that wildcat spot, but no stranger to taking snaps, and Burns will run it. Gus Malzahn brings an impressive resume to Auburn. His last 3 years as a coordinator, 07 and 08 at Tulsa. But Dave, we all remember his days at Arkansas.
Yeah, he was the guy that kind of should get credit probably for the wildcat formation, which we see here from Cody Burns.
Burns is denied just shy of the goal line. It will be 2nd and goal.
We've seen it's become popular even in the National Football League as the wildcat offense. And it's a form of offenses that have been hybrid over the years, but it really came into the forefront with Darren McFadden at Arkansas.
Burns looks for a hole and finds 6 points. Cody Burns with his 9th career rushing touchdown.
And Cody's so dangerous because we talked about the fact that he stepped away as the quarterback, became a receiver, so he is a quarterback essentially in the game, so you can't just defend run against him or he'll throw it and score a touchdown throwing the football.
This play is under review.
Let's see if Cody breaks the plane of the end zone. I don't think there's any question about that. Pretty easy call for the line judge right there. Just getting in behind Ryan Pugh, the center, and blowing it straight ahead.
So Dan Mullen not only thinking about things offensively, but now he's thinking about the pace of the game for his defense.
Well, and part of what that is starting to be able to run the football, which Auburn has been able to do. Cody Burns was the featured guy as they got down in the red zone running the wildcat.
After further review, ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
Chris Todd, a major part of that, throwing the ball. 2 excellent throws got him down in range so Cody could pound it in for Gene Chizik's club.
Junior Wes Byram in to kick the extra point. Clayton Crowfoot is the holder. And he knuckleballs that one through. Like they say on Broadway, how'd you come out? And it was good. Was deflected. A timeout with 8:13 to go in the first period. Auburn 7 and Mississippi State nothing.
I'm Fred Hickman here in our Atlanta studios. I'll be updating you with highlights from the SEC all afternoon and evening. Here's one for you from Neyland Stadium at Knoxville, Tennessee. UCLA comes in and then leaves with a victory. Smokey leading the Vols onto the field, but in the second quarter, Kevin Prince hits Shane Moline for the 12-yard touchdown, and UCLA hangs on to win by a final count of 19-15. Let's get you back now to Bob and Dave at Jordan Hare.
Thank you very much, Fred. We'll be looking forward to all of your updates through the evening. A big night of SEC football. You can keep it right here. We'll keep you up to date on all the games. Auburn draws first blood in this one. 8 plays, 73 yards, and Cody Burns takes it in for the touchdown. Now Auburn set to kick it deep. Morgan Hull, one of the deep men, or rather getting ready to kick off, I should say. Bonner and Berry are the deep men. And Berry decides to run it out of his own end zone. And a good return out to the 28. Well, Mississippi State gets it for a second time. And Dave Archer, that first drive was a 3-and-out.
Well, now Chris Relf will get his opportunity. Tyson Lee started the football game. He had 8 starts last year for this team. But Chris Relf is a big physical kid. You see the numbers, 6'3", 235. And he had an excellent day running the football. You see his numbers throwing it, 7 of 10, excellent 3 TDs. He also ran the ball for 82 yards and a touchdown against Jackson State last week.
And a give out to the 31-yard line for Christian Dupree.
Talked about Chris Relf last week. Quick throw in the flat here to Bumpus. He gets in the end zone. And then there's the big fella running, and you can see he likes to get the head turning downfield. There's an excellent throw for a touchdown as well. He threw 3 of them. There's the 3rd. He had an excellent day. But he's a big physical kid, and as much as you don't like to make comparisons, if you want to compare what they're doing offensively, this would be similar to what the run game with Tim Tebow would look like.
The throw comes over the middle and incomplete.
Boy, got tremendous pressure from Josh Bynes, the middle linebacker. Auburn is pinning their ears back and getting after Mississippi State up front. Number 17, Josh Bynes, comes straight through the middle, and as a quarterback and you're standing in there, you're trying to stand in and pull the ball down to your target, but that's the reason the ball was high. Josh Bynes right in Relf's face.
8 tackles, 5 solo last week against Louisiana Tech. Junior from Florida. 3rd and long again for the Bulldogs, and a whistle stops things. The Bulldogs are going to take a timeout. We will take the timeout with them. 7:24 first quarter. Auburn 7, Bulldogs nothing.
Every morning, millions of Americans set out in search of the open road at exactly the same time.
This traffic makes me grind my teeth.
Think commuting's tough on you? It's even tougher on your engine.
My engine? Not happening.
So get an oil that goes way beyond industry standards. Quaker State bonds to metal surfaces for 2 times better wear protection. Quaker State, real, durable oil. For even more wear protection, try Quaker State Full Synthetic. Just $4.99 now at Advance Auto.
Game day is what makes it different than everywhere else in the country, because it doesn't matter what town you're in the Southeastern Conference. Game day is an event. It's not a football game. It's an event. It doesn't matter whether you're in Starkville, Mississippi, Gainesville, Florida, or Athens, Georgia, wherever you are in that league. It's that same unbelievable, passionate atmosphere that you walk into, and that's what makes our league special.
Southeastern Conference football is brought to you by Phillips HD, by Regions Bank, and by Auto Owners Insurance. Welcome back to Jordan Hare. Spirit is here. Magnificent patriotic pregame ceremony. Now 3rd and 8 for the Bulldogs. They've already been faced with a 3rd and 11 in their previous drive. Relf will run it. Does not get the first down.
He's going to find that running through Jackson State's defense and lowering the head and lowering the boom on some players is going to be a little different than lowering the boom on an Auburn Tiger or anybody else in the SEC. That time Jake Ricks and Nico Thorpe dropped the hammer on Ralph 2 yards short of the first down.
Demond Washington, one of the deep men for Auburn. This will be taken by Fannin.
Well, we talked about how successful the drive was for Auburn, previous drive, and a lot of it was Chris Todd. This excellent throw to Adams over the top of the linebackers, and then this throw under pressure, he drops it over the underneath coverage again to Adams, and he gets him run after the catch, and he says, okay, Cody, you take it the rest of the way. And Cody Burns hammers it in for Auburn.
There you see that last drive for the Auburn Tigers. Todd has looked great throwing the football tonight. This one, a handoff to the 35-yard line, and Fannin.
Boy, Mario Fannin, his versatility to be able to catch the football and run it really helps Gene Chizik and his and Gus Malzahn in their offense, because his ability, he could line up a tailback, he can line up in the backfield as he is right now, he can line up in the slot.
And again, Fannin bounces off a couple of would-be tacklers, takes it over the 50 and into Mississippi State territory. Charles Mitchell the tackle, but not before Mr. Fannin came up with an 18-yard gain.
Well, when Fannin showed up on campus, he was the new big gun at running back, and he and Ben Tate shared carries. And then they found that they needed to get both Tate and Fannin on the field at the same time. And now they found a place to get Fannin. You see Fannin coming on late. They need to find a place to put both of them on the field. Now, we have not seen Ben Tate, but we have seen Ontario McCaleb, and he's another part of that mix.
Todd going for the deep ball, and it's going to be knocked down by Mitchell. Had a chance to pick it off. Zachary, the intended receiver.
That's a good play by Mitchell on the ball. Zachary is the outside receiver he's trying to get the football to, and really the theory as a quarterback is if he's even, he's leaving. As you see Zachary run by, that ball's got to be out deep and take him into the end zone with it. He underthrew him, or he might have had a touchdown.
2nd and 10. Caleb can go nowhere. Downstairs to Jen.
In case you guys are wondering where Ben Tate is, I've been watching him on the sideline. He was over here on the bike a little while ago. I've been told that it's a coach's decision, reason for him not being in the game, but I did see Gus Malzahn go over and talk to him a few moments ago, so I'd be surprised if we didn't see him sometime soon.
Yeah, he's riding on that bike right now, trying to keep the legs loose, so when they do dial him up, he gets out there and plays. He's ready to go and warmed up.
Third down and 8. Todd comes over the head of Mario Fannin.
Yeah, we got a flag on the play here, Bob, and Lee Zimba, who's working against Pernell McPhee, he held on to him. Two big guys, Goliaths, going head-to-head there, and Zimba got a little bit too much of McPhee, and that's what you're going to get here, a hold against the Tigers.
Holding on the offense, number 50. The penalty's declined. 4th down.
Now, they called it on Ryan Pugh, but it was definitely on Lee Zimba.
4th down.
Left side of your screen here, 73. Working against McPhee, 90. Now watch McPhee spin to the inside, and then there's the hold as he throws him to the ground. So I think Pugh will have a talk with Zimba and say, hey, don't drag me into your mess.
Clinton Durst is the punter. And Leon Berry, the deep man for the Bulldogs. Pretty good pressure. And this one is going to be touched at the 1. Beautiful. 45-yard punt.
Number 61, Josh Harris.
Well, this takes a lot of work and special teams. This is something they go over and over, trying to down the ball inside the 10-yard line. Excellent job. Just a great kick to start off with, and in tremendous coverage. Josh Harris down to tap it close there at the 1-yard line. Tough spot here for a young quarterback now, deep in his own end zone.
And an offense that has no success to date in this game. Dixon gets him a little breathing room out to the 8. Our thumb it in poll question tonight. Who is the greatest running back in SEC history? You see the 5 choices, and you got a lot of great ones to pick from. Fred Hickman in our Atlanta studios will be updating this throughout our game tonight and give you the results as to who you say is the greatest running back in SEC history. Text your answer to South. 2nd and 4 from the 7. And Dixon met again. A loss on the play. Adam Herring coming up with the stop. And what a remarkable story this young man is. This sophomore from Arkansas just returned to practice a week ago after a 9-month layoff for a heel injury, and he is playing great.
Excellent job at filling for the linebacker spot. Got a host of help. Jake Ricks also in on the play, the big defensive tackle.
3rd and 5. On the toss. Out of bounds at the 13. Dupree with the carry. Thorpe made the grab. Nico coming over last week. Made his 2nd career start against Louisiana Tech.
Nice job there by Ralph to run the option out on the edge, get the ball to Decree going downhill, and the Decree runs through the tackle of Thorpe on the sideline to get the 1st down. 2 big bangers at running back, Decree and Dixon.
The first down of the game for the Bulldogs. Dupree. Well, you talked about it, Dave. The Bulldogs looking to get some success first on the ground to reestablish some confidence.
Well, it will help your young quarterback as well. If you can get the ground attack going, now you can play action. You can do all those things that you want to do if you're Dan Mullen. But it certainly gets you out of the shadow of your own goalposts. And he's got 2 backs that can carry the mail, and both of them can block for one another as well.
To the sideline and through the hands of Brandon McRae. This is a ball club, Mississippi State, that struggled mightily offensively a year ago.
Bob, you mentioned the fact that they just got their first down of the game. They were 0 for 14 on 3rd down conversions last year in this game. It was a 3-2 nail biter.
Auburn puts in a nickel back. 3rd and 8. Intercepted. Coleman. To the end zone. Did he get in? Touchdown.
There's the end of the play. Does Coleman get in? Certainly will be looked at.
Antonio Coleman
Well, the versatility of Antonio Coleman, he's a pass rusher specialist, and not just that, he can play the run as well, but here you see the versatility to drop into zone coverage in a zone blitz. Damon Washington, 14, gets the pressure. The big defensive end drops off in zone coverage, and now does the big fella get in? Well, you got to like the style points on the dive. I give him a 9.5 on the dive. That ball has to stay inside the pylon. It doesn't matter if he came in out of bounds. As long as the ball stays inside the pylon, it's a touchdown as he breaks the plane.
That pylon is out of bounds. Boy, that is going to be a tough call upstairs, and they are still in deliberation.
Boy, just an outstanding call defensively that time by the Auburn Tigers. Ted Roof, the defensive coordinator here, working against Dan Mullen's offense, but dialed up the zone blitz that time.
After first view, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
A 20-yard pickoff for Coleman. And now the extra point as the Tigers continue to dominate the proceedings. They are going downhill. A defensive score to make it a 14-0 lead.
All right, Bob, I want to show you what happens on this play. We've got a great shot of it. You're going to see the zone blitz in action, and you're going to see right over here is Antonio Coleman. And here's the blitz going to come from the safety right here. Coleman's going to drop into coverage. There comes the blitz from the safety. Coleman drops in to take the zone coverage away. They sense blitz. He's trying to get the ball out quickly. Coleman drops right in the throwing lane to steal it and take it in the end zone.
Antonio Coleman with the touchdown, the Nagurski Award nominee, the Bednarik Award nominee, the Ted Hendricks for Best Defensive End nominee. And he's got his first career touchdown. It has been Auburn domination in this first quarter. Morgan Hall ready to kick it deep. Leon Berry, Wade Banner, the up men. Berry again takes it out of his own end zone. Big hit and dropped at the 16. Eric Smith on special teams. Auburn is fired up, and with good reason. They are on top of their game.
Now, Eric Smith is a backup running back playing on special teams. Tremendous athlete. And, boy, he comes up and rips the returner, Berry. Boy, it's infectious, though. Something happens offensively. Something happens defensively. It affects the rest of the football team, not to mention the 90,000 or so that are here at Jordan-Hare.
So now the Bulldogs with Tyson Lee back at quarterback. Dixon. And run down from behind at the 24-yard line by Zach Clayton.
Just a lead play off the left side, and Anthony Dixon missed the first game of the season because of a suspension. Dan Mullen reinstates him for this game. He is just 600 yards or so short of the all-time rushing record at Mississippi State, held by Atlanta Falcons' Jarius Norwood.
Dixon, great job, gets to the outside, and Dixon to midfield. A 23-yard rip-off, and a first down for Mississippi State.
Boy, excellent job off the left side, getting in behind Sherrod and Salisbury on that left side, and then Dixon, when he gets ahead of steam down the field. Look at McCray working against against Damon Washington. Zach Etheridge comes over to make the tackle. But you saw at the end of that, Dixon trying to deliver a blow.
To the 48 of Auburn. And Dixon, much like he did in the game here 2 years ago when Mississippi State won the game, he becomes a one-man battering ram.
Had over 1,000 yards that year, his sophomore season 2 years ago in a big Mississippi State win.
He gets a breather, and Robert Elliott comes in. Everything has been on the ground for the Bulldogs. Lee is looking. Has to run it. Maybe a yard gain and a penalty flag. Coleman and Goggins combined to bring him down. The Auburn pass coverage, Dave, has been outstanding.
Foul, face mask on the defense, number 52. The penalty is 15 yards from the end of the run and an automatic first down.
Coleman coming over to the sideline after the penalty gives Mississippi State a first down.
And you see where he made the play. Now he's going to get flagged for the face mask, but Coleman lines up on the other side of the field at defensive end. He came clear across the field on the sideline to try to make that play. But you mentioned the coverage of Auburn. It's been pretty good, very good in fact, but when Tyson Lee scrambled out, we've seen it twice, his receivers are not working back to him to help him out.
Play clock at 5. On the option, Elliott, nothing doing. Craig Stevens, hello.
Well, just a slow developing play against an Auburn defense that can run, and the two linebackers were the ones that made the play. Bynes pressures the quarterback, and Stevens comes over the top to make the play on the option, but it just took too long to develop.
That's the end of the first quarter here in Auburn. And it is all Tigers offensively and defensively. 14-0 Auburn after one. We're going to the second on SEC College Football Saturday. SEC College Football Saturday presented by Phillips HD. 14-0 Auburn, and the second Tiger touchdown came courtesy of the defense. Antonio Coleman jumps up, grabs it out of midair, and heads to the corner of the end zone. He made it in to make it 14-0. And for more on the Coleman story, we go to Jim.
Well, one guy who's really helped Antonio Coleman this year is Tracy Rocker, who joined the team as the defensive line coach, former All-American here at Auburn. And one thing that he told me he said when he first met Antonio was, he said, all right, I'm going to challenge you. What's your purpose? Antonio said, do my job. He said, that's not enough. I need you to lead, or I'm going to make your day uncomfortable.
Mississippi State gives the ball to Dixon. And the Auburn defense is there to stop it for no gain. There's Tracy Rocker. You talk about the all-time greats, not only of Auburn history, not only of SEC history, we're talking about one of the all-time greats in the history of the college game.
No question about it. Was voted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2004. He was the first guy in SEC history to win both the Outland and Lombardi trophies.
A pretty good mentor, I would say. Lee back to pass. And a great grab on the sideline and out of bounds. Brandon McCray with a great hands catch. And a 19-yard gain.
You said it, Bob. This is a spectacular catch by Brandon McCray working against Damon Washington. He climbs the ladder and just snatches the ball out of the air, and then to have the presence of mind of where he is on the field to snap it up the field and get the first down. What a spectacular play by McCray.
And that is the first completion of the night for the men of Dan Mullen. Dixon dives to the 4.
Well, you talk about a guy that's got some feet. Craig Stevens has got him lined up to try to make the play out in space. If Ted Roof were to design this defense, this is exactly what he would have wanted. He had everybody accounted for in the option. And there's Stevens. You got to make that tackle. What a play by a 235-pound running back to make the linebacker miss and stick it inside the 5.
First and goal for Mississippi State. Dixon bangs it down to the 2. First 3 drives of the night, Mississippi State had only 1 first down. They picked up 4 in this drive.
How about Dan Mullen breaking out the wishbone lead play on first down inside the 5? Mullen known for all that innovation, everything they can do with the football, and they're going to come out in the wishbone with 2 tight ends.
And here it comes again. And Dixon. Does he break the plane? Yes. Touchdown. Anthony Dixon gets Mississippi State back in the ballgame.
It's the same play again, the lead play. The wishbone considered one of the great short yardage offenses of all time, and it's just a straight lead. 2 backs leading up the field. And it didn't look like he got in. I think they're going to have to line up on third down and try to get it in. The big fella drug down right there, just short of the touchdown. Gang tackling by Auburn.
The knee is down before the nose of that bulk crossed the plane.
Right there, just shy of the goal line. So I think you're going to get to see it maybe one more time. Tyson Lee, you've seen the alternating quarterback situation where Relf has been in. Tyson Lee started the game for Dan Mullen. There's Gene Chizik standing alongside him. Ted Roof in the white shirt right there, his defensive coordinator. Former head coach at Duke. Boy, he is an excellent football coach. Chizik's got him a heck of a staff here at Auburn.
The replay official would like one more look.
And you see the lead. You got 2 backs leading, getting in behind the offensive line, but a good job of Auburn to get off blocks and get around the legs of Dixon, and it certainly looks like he's just shy of the goal line.
You think back on this drive, how big was that face mask penalty?
Well, it was a big play. It was on a scramble by Tyson Lee. Antonio Coleman was flagged for the penalty. But really, this drive has been about Anthony Dixon and the offensive line trying to establish some physical play and coming off the football. Got the big catch from Brandon McCray on the sideline. So it's been a couple of guys stepping up for a team that struggled offensively to this point. This might be one of those it's hard to tell from the different angles.
After further review, the runner's knee was down at the 1-foot line prior to the ball breaking the plane to the goal line. Therefore, it'll be third down at the 1-foot line.
So take those points off the board. And an opportunity for this Auburn defense to rise up.
Well, I venture to say they're going to get a chance to stop Anthony Dixon again. I would be willing to bet that they'll come back to a similar formation set. The beauty of it is that he has Dupree on the other side, and Dupree can carry the ball just as well.
Third down. Dixon trying to go over the top.
Boy, it's hard to tell, Bob, and it certainly looked like Freeman got in. It looked like Zach Etheridge, the safety. Clayton was in there. There was a number of players in around the legs of Dixon as he elevated. See, he ran into the back of his own player. Brignoni, the center, was shoved into the backfield. Now, 4th and goal from the 1. They'll go.
Touchdown. Anthony Dixon. They made the stop on 3rd down, but could not deny Anthony Dixon.
4 straight times from the wishbone. Anthony Dixon carries the ball off the left side behind big Derek Sherrod and Quentin Salisbury. And with the 2 backs leading, is able to pound it in.
Sean Brockley adds the extra point. Anthony Dixon pounds it home. 14-7 Auburn.
Tonight's game is in high definition, presented by Philips HD.
A second-team All-SEC preseason pick. Mississippi State faithful saying, how great is it to have Dixon back in the lineup?
No question about it. He's the school leader, record holder in carries, touchdowns. He just added another one to the mix there, closing in on the all-time rushing record at Mississippi State. And Dan Mullen, for all his innovations and everything that he can do, getting people to football, resorts to the wishbone inside the 5, and Dixon pays off on the 4th carry for the touchdown.
Sean Brockley as the kick team deploys. McCaleb from the 5. Auburn will start inside the 20 at the 19. The key numbers from our first half brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. And even though the numbers favoring Auburn through the first quarter and plus, Mississippi State getting back in this ball game.
Well, the numbers have evened out significantly because of that drive. Anthony Dixon running the football behind his big offensive line, a couple of key plays, a penalty, and a great catch by Brandon McCray, and we got a ball game here early here in the 2nd quarter.
And for the first time tonight for the Auburn Tigers, Ben Tate makes his way into the lineup. Gets the carry. KJ Wright brought him down. Ben Tate rushed for 117 yards last week and went over 2,000 in his magnificent career.
And really was the only offensive threat or weapon in last year's 3-2 game. Rushed for 92 yards last year against Mississippi State. He's the leading rusher for this team last season.
Grinds it straight ahead. Again, KJ Wright there. And out to the 29.
Well, it's been coined a number of times, the Thunder and Lightning, and Ontario McCaleb being the quick guy and Tate the banger. But Tate's got some news of his own. He was quick to mention that.
Cody Burns in. And wants to run it after the snap, and a penalty flag stops the play.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, number 73, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Our thumb it in poll question tonight. In your opinion, who's the greatest running back in SEC history? Text your answer to South. Fred Hickman will update you at halftime in our Atlanta studios. Third and 6. Incomplete. That went off the shoulder pad of Darvin Adams. A big night of SEC football under the lights. We've had a couple of games in the books. Florida won big over Troy earlier today in Gainesville. Tebow had a magnificent day throwing the football. And Tennessee falls at home to UCLA 19-15. And here's what's going on elsewhere. The Gamecocks in Georgia in a high-scoring first quarter in Athens.
And how about this one right here?
Wow. That's just about 150 miles from here in Tuscaloosa. This punt is going to hit at the 50 and just drop right there. The nose of the ball will hit midfield. And that is going to give Mississippi State tremendous field position.
Well, it's the classic ebb and flow of a football game. Everything was going Auburn's way. They get the ball in the end zone on the interception. Their kickoff unit comes down, makes a big play inside the 15-yard line. But Mississippi State responds. They move the football on the ground. They move it, get down, get in the end zone, get a touchdown, and then they get a 3-and-out on defense, and now set up with the short field after the bad kick.
Just a 26-yard punt, and Dixon looking in mid-season form in his first action of the new year. Lee at quarterback, cranks and throws, complete to the 39-yard line. A beautiful catch by Leon Berry. And Mississippi State, with its passing game, getting some opportunities on the outside.
Well, and because of the ground game, the linebackers have to stay in away, take away the ground game. Good read from Tyson Lee. He releases Dixon in the flat, pulls the flat defender out of there, and a good throw to Berry to pick up a big gainer and a first down.
Gets this one. Nothing over the right side. Jake Ricks. Josh Bynes also coming up with yet another tackle.
Bob, there's nothing flashy about these two backs in Dupree and Dixon. Both of them are bangers. They'll come straight ahead at you. They do have enough ability to make you miss. We saw Dixon make Craig Stevens miss down in the red zone out in the open space. They both catch the football well, and they can both block. So two guys that are complete backs.
Ralph. And upended as he gets to the 10-yard line. A 27-yard pickup, first and goal, Bulldogs.
Boy, an excellent job of reading it by Ralph. This is the zone read play. He looks at the end crashes, he pulls it. And then the big fella gets the big frame rolling down the field. Good read on the edge. Watch him. You see his eyes are on the defensive end.
Zach Clayton.
Boy, good job by Ralph to read it. That was classic zone read play from Chris Ralph.
To the outside and knocked out of bounds. Penalty flag. Addison Lawrence lost his helmet. And the penalty will go against Mississippi State. Holding.
They're having a tough time getting Jake Ricks out of there. Addison Lawrence, Zach Clayton.
Holding on the offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty, previous spot, 3 first down.
Zach Clayton also involved, and Zach Clayton really is the guy that's tough. Look here. Lawrence gets shoved into the backfield, clouds the look for Ralph, so Ralph slides to the outside, and as Ricks, or as Clayton slides off the block of Lawrence, reaches out and grabs him, and that's where the flag comes. Great job by Clayton to stuff the play.
This game has turned around 180 in the second quarter. Ralph under center, quick toss to the wing, and out of bounds at the 16-yard line is Leon Berry. Nico Thorpe ran him out of bounds. That stops the clock at 8:22.
Alternating quarterbacks now with the play. Ralph will leave. Tyson Lee checks in with the call from Dan Mullen.
Second and goal. 3 receivers to the bottom of your screen as Tyson Lee comes under center. Floats it to the 12. And Auburn is there. Marcus Green made the grab. Craig Stevens the hit.
That time Dan Mullen decides to move his quarterback, knowing that Auburn was going to pin their ears back and maybe come after him on 2nd and long. So they sprint the quarterback, and get the throw in the flat. Good job by Auburn to take away the throw down the field. Made him throw it underneath. Stevens makes the play from the linebacker spot.
What do you think the play call is here?
Well, you've got Tyson Lee in the game, and he's the more accomplished passer. Remember, Anthony Dixon, an outstanding receiver, checks way out wide up top.
Deflected and incomplete. Tipped at the line of scrimmage. Jake Ricks, number 91. Antonio Coleman getting up. Let's see.
And I'm not sure he could have got this in there had he gotten it past Ricks. Ricks bats it down, but Bates, 25, the safety. You see him lower the boom on Wilder. He was closing with separation from man and ball on his mind.
A 29-yard attempt for Sean Broccoli. And it is good. So Mississippi State getting blown out of the water in the first quarter. A different story in period 2. Dan Mullen likes it. 14-10.
Fred Hickman back in the studio with an update. As Bob told you earlier, a good one going at Bama. Florida International and number 4 Bama. This is T.Y. Hilton taking a kickoff 96 yards in the first quarter. That cut Bama's lead to 10-7. And then Paul McCall to Greg Ellingson in the second. 9 yards to make it 14-13. But Bama has scored to go ahead 20-14. More coming up at the half.
Thank you, Fred. Over in Athens, 17-14 Gamecocks. LSU 10-7 now over Vanderbilt in Baton Rouge in the second period.
Oh, and all the talk in Tuscaloosa this week was about how they were not going to repeat the performance that they had against Tulane last year, where they just scratched and clawed to get a win to extend their home winning streak. But they're having a tough one with Florida International tonight.
McCaleb on the return. Over the 30 and out at the 32. 27-yard return. Now Auburn, David, looks to restart its offense.
Well, and that's part of the problem now if you're Auburn, because Mississippi State has been able to possess the football. My offense has been on the sideline now, and from a continuity or rhythm standpoint, you almost have to reestablish that now. You've been on the sidelines quite a bit over the last 10 minutes of the football game. So now Chris Todd going to have to come out and make some of those throws we saw in the first quarter to try to get this offense cranked up again.
Chris Todd at the controls for the Tigers, first and 10 from the 32. McCaleb still going and rolled up after picking up a couple of yards.
Now, right now, Mississippi State's front seven is outplaying Auburn on the front wall, and it's going to take a throw from Chris Todd to try to loosen that up a tad.
Officially a 1-yard pickup, 2nd and 9.
Three down linemen, 3 linebackers, 5 defensive backs in the game for Mississippi State.
Darrell Zachary. There's Carl Torbush, the veteran coach, former head man at North Carolina, taking over as the defensive coordinator for Dan Mullen.
We talked about the staff for Gene Chizik, the outstanding staff for Dan Mullen as well.
McCaleb weaving his way over the 45 to the 46 before Damian Anderson brought him down.
Big Andrew McClain, the right tackle for Auburn, got his first career start last week. Got a good block there to help get the first down for Auburn.
McCain, 6'6", 300 senior from Birmingham. This play goes nowhere as Ryan Pugh, Nick Bell putting on some major heat.
Nick Bell, redshirt freshman, he also got his first game experience last week against Jackson State. So a lot of young football players for Dan Mullen.
2nd and 14. And the flags come flying.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, number 75, 5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
Gus Malzahn calling for a personnel group. You know, if you're an offensive group and you move and you go and your center doesn't go anywhere or snap the football, probably the wrong snap count. Gus Malzahn not real happy about that, but he is trying to get a different personnel group in the game. He said this is the one thing that slows him down a little bit. Look at Ryan Pugh. Ryan's been playing for Auburn since he stepped on campus. A junior now, but he's played a lot of football here.
Todd going deep down the middle. Incomplete. Zachary drew a lot of attention from Washington and Smith.
Well, Washington is in a great position to make the play against Zachary. Tremendous job of keeping his leverage. You're going to see the corner to the right of your screen now. He's going to keep outside and deep leverage. He's got deep third responsibility. See him come over the top to make the play. Good job by Zach Smith, the free safety, to be in the position too. Whenever you're trying to throw a post route, if the safety stays in the middle of the field in the corner, you can't get by the corner. Probably not a good idea to throw it down there. Usually goes back the other way. Good play by Washington.
And there was a holding call that backs the football to the 37. 3rd and 19. Todd. Incomplete. That time, Darvin Adams was trying to come back and help a bit.
Well, Darvin Adams made a couple of catches early in the football game, and this is his 2nd drop, and I'm going to call this a drop as his quarterback moves now. Now your job is to find a hole and idle down, but his feet slip out from underneath him, and the ball hits him right in the chest. That's a catch he's going to have to make for his quarterback as he moves out of the pocket. And
in the statistics, they don't count the drops, so Todd is now 0 for his last 5. Mississippi State takes the lead. Robert Elliott picked it up and scored the touchdown. And the punter, Clinton Durst, got smoked on the play.
Just a matter of time when Dan Mullen's team was going to make a play on special teams. Dan Mullen, who watched Urban Meyer coach the special teams at Florida. That's something he's really enjoyed doing now that the offense is being taken care of by Les Koenig. Being able to do what he wants to do on special teams, and you just knew it was a matter of time. They blocked a number of punts at Florida, and you knew that Dan Mullen was going to dial something up there.
Broccoli got it in there, and that makes it 17-14. Here comes the heat. And Elliott grabs that loose ball and puts the Bulldogs in front. We are back at 17-14. Mississippi State, the punt block and the touchdown.
There's Hanrahan, Patrick Hanrahan. He's going to get the block. Okay, spread formation. You see a lot of screwy formations. Want to watch here? Right here is Hanrahan. Now they're going to try to count. Now you got to count for the 3 most dangerous. There's one, and there's one. Let him go. He's too far away from the punter. But they don't block Hanrahan. He goes right through the middle and gets the block. So a poor job by the up men to take care of the most dangerous men against the punter. And Hanrahan blows through and blocks the kick.
Hanrahan stays on in the special teams duty. And Elliott, who picked it up and scored, ready to race down the field. Here comes the Mississippi State kickoff. McCaleb from the 3. And we talked about the punter, Clinton Durst, who just got walloped by Hanrahan on the block. And he's trying to shake it off down there on the Auburn sideline.
Well, if there was ever a situation where you don't want anybody to be injured, and Durst took quite a shot there on the block from Hanrahan, but if there's ever a team that had a backup punter that can step in, Ryan Shoemaker, an all-SEC performer, stands waiting in the wings to take over the punting duty. So Auburn is in pretty good shape there.
Tate. Good run for Ben. Out of bounds. First down, Auburn at the 37. 18-yard gallop.
Well, when you run the option, you've got to get the blocks on the perimeter. You're going to see number 5, Tommy Trott, show up just right there. That block right there gets Ben Tate on the corner against Wade Bonner. And Tate up the field.
Tate trying to get to that corner again. Hit hard as he crosses the 40 at the 43.
But a little bit different flavor to the Auburn running attack now with Ben Tate in the game. He has the ability to run through tackles. A little bit of what you get with Fannin on the edge, you're getting with Ben Tate now.
Ben takes it straight ahead. And an Auburn first down at the 48-yard line. And we're seeing in this series, Dave, the tempo much more to Auburn's liking.
Yeah, much more what Gus Malzahn wants. They're having to change personnel because they don't quite have the right personnel for Gus Malzahn to keep them all on the field. He wants to get the right packages on. But once they get up there, they want to go quickly.
McCaleb crosses Bulldog territory. Charles Mitchell knocks him down at the 47.
Mitchell gets the tackle. Excellent job by Chris White, the outside linebacker that time. Blew up the outside lead block and really clouded the look for McCaleb as he picked up 4.
Down 14-0. Mississippi State leads 17-14. And one of the Auburn scores was the Coleman pickoff. Down on the option. McCaleb. Sprint. And Auburn goes back in front.
Well, we saw Ben Tate pound it through the middle, physical, get a first down, and then the home run threat. Ontario McCaleb to the outside with the big speed.
Byron's kick is good. 3:08 left. Auburn 21-17. 21-17. And Dave Archer, you talked about speed on the corner from this young man.
And you got a block on the edge to get McCaleb free, and that's exactly what Auburn did. You got to get blocks down the field. You're going to see them. We're going to freeze it for you right here. Tommy Trott, there's the block there. Now the block out on the edge, and there's Cody Burns. How about that? 2 key blocks, and then it's big speed on the sideline. You got to get the guy to the edge, and it's going to take blocks. Tommy Trott, Cody Burns getting that done, and then McCaleb takes care of the rest.
And there's Cody. I think one word sums up his contributions to the overall football program this year, and that's selfless.
No question about it. And you tag right behind that in parentheses, a football player.
Makes a magnificent block. Auburn 21-17. Hull's kick again to the end zone and buried. I thought maybe that thing popped out on him, but Thorpe will make the tackle. And Mississippi State on a 29-yard return. Penalty marker on the field.
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 82. 2 yards penalty, first down.
Down to Jen on the sidelines.
Bob, you guys used the word selfless to describe Cody Burns a few moments ago, and I think every single person in this stadium would probably agree with you. To do what he did, get up and talk to his entire football team when he was so disappointed to lose out on that quarterback job, and make sure he had this entire team not only behind him but behind the starting quarterback, Chris Todd.
Tyson Lee at quarterback for Mississippi State. Carry on the outside. Over the 25 and to the 27-yard line.
Bob, let's get back to what Jen was talking about there. You mentioned the word selfless. Cody Burns, you cannot put a measure of what that means to the football team for him to stand up after being told that he's not the starting quarterback, for him to say, I just want to help. I'm going to ride with you guys. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to help this team win football games. And coming from a guy that had been the quarterback on this team, his leadership was already established. He now becomes a guy that they will walk through fire with.
Dixon. Well, on that note, here's what Gene Chizik had to say about Cody Burns.
There's almost one of those moments that kind of make you want to cry. I mean, really, you know, you're sitting there as a grown man going, golly, I'm getting ready to tear up, because it really was kind of an example of a really young guy showing maturity way beyond his years.
And it speaks volumes.
Well, he's a guy that burst on the scene in this game 2 years ago. He was burst on the scene as the quarterback, and now he's helping any way he can, and the key block there for McCaleb's touchdown.
Dixon changes direction but can't find any running room. Craig Stevens. Boy, these linebackers for Auburn, outstanding. Stevens has already picked up 5 tackles in the first half. Ted Roof has got to be thrilled with the way Stevens and Bynes and Herring have played in this game. 21-17 Auburn with $1:47 to go before halftime.
When I came to Auburn, I learned that the Auburn Creed has inspired members of the Auburn family for generations. It begins with, I believe that this is
a practical world, that I can count only on what I earn. Therefore, I believe in work, hard work.
I believe in education, which gives me the knowledge to work wisely.
I believe in a sound mind, in a sound body, and a spirit that is not afraid.
And because Auburn men and women believe in these things, I believe in Auburn and love it.
Really? Okay.
A minute 47 away from halftime in our Toyota halftime report. Fred Hickman will catch us up on a big night and several surprises in the SEC today and this evening. Highlights, scores, all coming up, and he'll update our text poll as to the greatest running back in SEC history. 3rd and 9 for Mississippi State. And they continue to pound it on the ground with Dixon. Coleman the tackle.
Just come with zone read. Dixon gets the carry because the end stays upfield on Tyson Lee. And Auburn now burn a timeout to try to conserve some time for themselves at 1:35 here in the second quarter.
Dan Mullen. Yeah, you talk about interesting career paths. Dan Mullen took an interesting career path to get his head job. This is a guy that grew up in New Hampshire, went to Ursinus College in Pennsylvania, and found his way through a couple of GA stops along the way. Here's an interesting note on Dan Mullen. As a career assistant with the big schools, his record 105-31. So he has put together a history and a knowledge to prepare himself for this moment.
Yeah, an undefeated season at Utah while the quarterback coach there. 2 national titles at Florida.
They'll kick it. And a fair catch at the 22 by Desmond Washington.
Devon Washington makes the fair catch at the 22.
So Auburn has a minute 29 with which to work.
The punt covers 40.
More than enough time to move the football. Obviously the clock stopping on first down, so in the college game you can move the football without having the timeouts in your pocket. Auburn with just 1, but they do get the timeouts when the chains move. So Chris Todd has more than enough time to get themselves in field goal range.
1:29 to go, second quarter. As Chris Todd comes under center and will roll and look and unload a side armor as the heat was coming, and it's incomplete.
Boy, well played by K.J. Wright. Just a tremendous outside linebacker, 6'3", 245 pounds. But what he does on the boot is he slow plays it. By that I mean he takes away Todd's options. You watch him take away the back right now. Now he's going to rush the quarterback. And before Todd could reload it and get it to Fannin, K.J. Wright was in his face. Boy, that's well played on the edge.
1:24 left in this second quarter. On 2nd and 10. Todd trying to get that ball down the field and out of bounds to stop things at the 25-yard line. Mario Fannin with the grab.
Now if you're Dan Mullen, you start thinking about getting the ball back yourself. It's 3rd and 7 now, and he's talking about his defense trying to get a stop. Defensive coordinator Carl Torbush looking to try to get a stop and get the football back.
And Dan's got 2 timeouts in his back pocket. On the far side, takes the football near midfield. It will be 1st down and 10 for Auburn at the 46.
This is a spectacular throw. Really didn't transfer the weight, so his weight, you hear it a lot of times, throw it off your back foot. That was the epitome of it right there, falling backwards. Outstanding throw to Darvin Adams.
Auburn comes with 4 receivers. Tate the setback.
A lot of 3-down line, 3 linebacker look for Mississippi State with K.J. Wright rushing.
Oh, the wraparound to Tate. But Mississippi State was there. Wright and White with the tackle.
Well, you're seeing a lot of 3-man line, and K.J. Wright is the guy coming from the linebacker spot to rush the passer. He was able to fold across the formation there and make the play along with Chris White.
Todd, pump fake, throws, complete at the 30. Down to the 20-yard line. Darvin Adams. 38 seconds left in the half.
Boy, outstanding read from Chris Todd. He sees the corner bite up short. He throws in behind against the cover 2 look. A half safety on that side of the field and a rolled up corner. Excellent throw.
24-yard pickup. Still getting the chains set. Clock starts with 34-33. Todd again going to the end zone, and that is too long for Adams. This is the previous play.
That's a good job. Watch the corner bite up right there. As soon as the corner bites up, that's his read. The safety play in the half. Washington bites up on the underneath route, and he throws in behind. That's classic. That's a classic way of stretching the cover 2 coverage. And when you're cover 2, it's 2 safeties playing half the field, and then you have 5 underneath defenders, and the corner bit up underneath, and he threw in the hole behind.
Todd again, caught, but not in the end zone at the 1-yard line. And Auburn has 21 seconds left. Darvin Adams, who made his first career touchdown grab last week against Louisiana Tech, takes it down to the 1. He's shaken up.
Big hit from Zach Smith coming over the top, but again, finding that hole between corner and safety by Darvin Adams.
Auburn takes the timeout with 21 seconds left, and the way he landed on that shoulder, Adams comes off the field and in need of some medical attention.
Well, he has been the go-to guy tonight. We talked about how he made a couple early catches, then he dropped a couple. But in this drive, he has been the man. 3 big catches in this drive. You just hope that Darvin Adams is okay.
And he's up to 5 grabs for the night, Dave, and 116 yards.
Harrison High School, Kennesaw, Georgia, a sophomore.
Last week was his first career start and having a big impact on this one.
Well, there's no question that Chris Todd believes in him, because he is filling him up with the football and he is paying off.
This is the scene a moment ago. Todd and Burns. We just love that coming together of this 2009 Auburn Tiger team.
Now 21 seconds left, no timeouts. Cody Burns is at quarterback, so you got to be careful here whether you can get lined up again.
The fake to Todd, Burns the other way, touchdown. What a magnificent weapon for Gene Chizik and Auburn.
Well, spectacular drive by Chris Todd and the Auburn offense. The big 3rd down and 7 conversion to Darvin Adams, and then it was no looking back. 2 more big throws, and then Cody Burns out of the Wildcat. And Auburn's opened up an 11-point lead.
Wes Byram knocks it through. Todd was the motion man on this play.
Yeah, really no chance of Cody handing him the football, but you got to stay honest. Just freezes the safety just a count. But really, it's about Cody Burns knowing he's got to get in the end zone. That was a situation there with no timeouts left and just 21 seconds left on the clock. If Cody were to get caught up in a big pile trying to get the ball snapped for another play, Cody would have had to have the presence of mind to maybe kill the clock. But that didn't come to bear as he's able to stick it in the end zone.
So after the block punt for the touchdown, Auburn comes roaring back with 2 touchdowns. McCaleb's big burst for 48, and as you mentioned, Dave, a fantastic drive resulting in Burns' second 1-yard TD run of the game. 28-17. On to the lights in this incredible setting. Jordan-Hare Stadium. SEC football spectacular anytime, but I'm telling you, Dave, at night it is something special.
There are no venues anywhere in the country that are like SEC stadiums.
Leon Berry is the deep man for Mississippi State. From the goal line. Ten seconds remaining in the half.
Well, this will be a situation where Dan will send his quarterback out and they'll probably kneel down on the ball. But early in this football game, I'm sure Mississippi State started looking around like, are we in the right place? And they played themselves back into the game. So we're in set for a great second half.
A 28-17 Auburn lead. Tyson Lee takes that knee, and the first half is history here in Auburn. Tremendous momentum swings. Auburn dominated the first period. Then Mississippi State came roaring back and got the lead at 17-14 as we head it down to Jen with Dan Mullen.
Well, Coach, your team came back in this one, but now has to come into the half trailing again. What do you need to do defensively to stop this Auburn team?
Well, you know, it's the big plays we're giving up. You know, we're stopping them and then giving up a couple big plays. We got to stop that and, you know, and just kind of contain it inside out.
Offensively, what did you like from your team in the first half?
Well, you know, we're a little cleaner. We still have a lot of execution we do. We need to make some big plays, though. You know, they're making all the big plays in this game. Our offense got to come out and have a couple big hits like they've done.
All right, Coach, thanks very much. Bob, sounds like big plays, the name of the game in this one.
No doubt about it, and a big second half awaits. But first, Fred Hickman. He's going to get us up to date on a big night on this second Saturday of the SEC season. We've got a great one cooking here on the Plains. 28-17 Auburn. Fred Hickman coming up with all the updates and info in just a moment. to Jordan-Hare Stadium here in Auburn, Alabama. Our halftime scores, the Tigers come out of the locker room 28-17 in favor of Auburn. Bob Rathman, Dave Archer back with you here in the booth, and this game was 14-0 Auburn, and it looked like it was going to be a blowout. But then, David, it turned into a shootout.
Yeah, just 63 yards of offense for Mississippi State in the first quarter, and Auburn was up 14-0, but Mississippi State cranked things up, and it's really been a fun game to watch because there's been changes throughout the first half. All
Auburn, though, in that first quarter as they went off to that 2-touchdown lead early as we check our Phillips HD game summary. Coleman had the pick for the touchdown, and it looked like Auburn was well on its way. But then Mississippi State turned it around in that second quarter, rallied to take the lead at 17-14. The block punt by Hanrahan turned into an Elliott 10-yard run. And then it was Auburn with 2 late touchdown drives to recapture the lead. Our first half highlights.
Now, the ebb and flow of this game has been unbelievable. Coleman intercepts his pass, and it's 14-0 now. Auburn, and you start to think, okay, the route is on, but Mississippi State would have none of it. Anthony Dixon got cranked up, and on 4 runs inside the 5, scores the touchdown. They come right back, get a 3 and out. Mississippi State blocks the punch, gets the touchdown, and all of a sudden Dan Mullen's crew is on top. But it didn't take long for Auburn to get right back in the flow of things. Ontario McCaleb, the talented freshman, goes on the long run for the touchdown, a 48-yard touchdown run. And then Cody Burns has become their red zone guy out of the Wildcats, stuffs it in right at the end of the half. Just a tremendous ebb and flow of the game, and can't wait to get the second half started.
And the head man of the Auburn Tigers, Gene Chizik, is standing by with Jen.
Good start, good finish to the half. What were your thoughts overall?
Well, I thought we played really good at times. Right now we were sloppy with some things on special teams, sloppy a little bit on third downs on defense. You know, really kind of had them where we wanted them and let them slip out of that a little bit, but we finished up strong right now and carried a little momentum into the second half.
When things are going well for you, what's been working?
Well, I think we've just been focusing and doing what we're asking them to do. I mean, there's no secret to it right now. You play hard, you do what the coaches ask you to do right now, and you have favorable results.
All right, Coach, thanks so much. 2 quarters to go. Bob?
It's going to be Mississippi State football to start this third quarter. What's Dan Mullen think about this initial drive?
I think you got to get back to what you were doing. Anthony Dixon is the key to their offense. You got to pound the running game, get Ralph running the football. Tyson Lee has come in and made some nice throws, but the key is to get the ground game cranked back up so they can possess the football, eat time off the clock.
And I think, David, we will have to put this under the category of what a difference a year makes. These two clubs met last year in Starkville, Mississippi. September 13th was the date, and it was a defensive struggle, to say the least. The final score of this game was Auburn 3 on that field goal, and Mississippi State 2.
Yeah, and really the 2 points that Mississippi State got for Sylvester Croom and his crew was a holding penalty by Ryan Pugh, the center, in the end zone by Auburn. So Mississippi State did nothing. 114 yards of offense in that game. They already are at 171 here in the first half.
So this capacity crowd watching what has turned into a wild affair, and just another incredible night of SEC football. We'll keep you updated with the other games. We've got 4 amazing contests going at this hour. Glad to have you with us. A return by Leon Berry from the 2. Finds a seam. Breaks a tackle and lunges over the 25 to the 26.
Well, keep your eye on that kid right there. Leon Berry he's a JC transfer from East Mississippi Community College, and he averaged almost 30 yards a return last year at East Mississippi. And he's a kid, he's taken 2 back for touchdowns there. He will return one for a touchdown for the Bulldogs sometime this year.
Tyson Lee will be the quarterback for Mississippi State as we begin the third quarter. Dixon, the setback, and he carries it out to the 31. Josh Bynes wraps him up.
So if you're Dan Mullen and you go in at halftime, you challenge your football team. Okay, we're going to put it on the offensive line and we're going to come off the ball and run it. It's time to get that done. That's who we are. We're going to beat them up, try to beat them up physically, and Anthony Dixon's going to carry the rock.
And an offensive line that has been thinned by injuries. Tobias Smith, the redshirt freshman, has been out. Came out of the cast last week for the injured ankle. But guys like Sherrod and Salisbury, Brignoni, Jenkins have done a good job for Dixon. This time coming through as a penalty flag flies. Zach Etheridge came up with the tackle on Dixon.
Illegal formation on the offense. More than 4 players were lined up in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
Tonight's game is in high definition, presented by Philips HD.
So Dan Mullen and the Bulldogs faced with a 2nd and 10.
Well, and if you want to run the football and feature the run, you can't have those kind of mistakes, because now it takes you out of your mold of being able to run it on 1st and 2nd down. Now 2nd and long forces you into a little bit of a passing situation.
Berry and a flag. Lawrence jumped. Right tackle.
Prior to snap, false start on the offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
So they lined up improperly. Now the penalty on Lawrence backs Mullins forces up 5 more yards. It will be 2nd and 15.
Right, you see Dan is extremely upset. He understands that this is going to be a small chunks at a time offense for until they get their feet under them here the first couple of weeks of the season. And to give up 10 yards on mental mistakes, can't afford it.
Dixon steps over and gets to the 26-yard line, so it'll be 3rd and about 9.
The big fella coming right at you now. Watch him elevate right here and kind of drop the 240 pounds right on top of that defender there. Nico Thorpe picks up about 6 or 7 on the play. He is the guy that they're going to have to load the whole thing on for a while until these young quarterbacks, certainly Ralph, gets his feet under him. Tyson Lee in the game right now.
Dixon, the man who holds the Mississippi State record for rushing attempts and rushing touchdowns, has carried the mail 17 times in this game. Complete. McCray, and that gets into the 32, where it will be 4th down. McFadden the stick.
Well, that's what happens. You get in 3rd and long situations, and now defensively you can lay back, make them throw the ball underneath. Anthony Dixon's going to pick up great block right there on Goggins. But what you do on 3rd and long is you force them to throw underneath, rally up, make the tackle by McFadden, and now you're punting.
Great hang time. And running into his own man, Washington. His own man ran into him, I guess, more accurately.
Mario Fannin got the tackle on the play.
51-yard punt and a -2-yard return. Southeastern Conference football is brought to you by Toyota, by Philips HD, and by Geico. From the Plains, we'll be cranking out the toilet paper later tonight. Let's see. It's 28-17 Auburn as we get this 3rd quarter underway. Jamar Chaney, haven't called his name very often tonight.
No, only 1 tackle tonight. He had 5 tackles last week against Jackson State. But a guy coming back that is the undoubted leader of this football team. Tremendous inside linebacker. Lost his season last year to a broken leg after making 12 tackles. He was injured late in the first game of the season last year.
McCaleb. Well, he hit that hole quickly, did he not? Up to the 28. You mentioned Jamar Chaney.
Stopped by number 50.
It was in game 1 last year that he went down with this injury.
Yeah, and this is late in the football game here against Louisiana Tech. Going to get rolled up right there. Got the ankle rolled up. Got a break in the lower leg, and he lost him for the entire season. Had 12 tackles to that point. He led the team in tackles in 07.
Tate. For more on the story, let's send it downstairs to Jen.
Bob, Dave said it a moment ago that Jamar Chaney, the guy that everybody on Mississippi State looks to as a leader, and I think that you would agree he hasn't shown up the way we've seen him before. They need him right now.
On cue, Jen, Jamar Chaney. Chaney steps in the hole. They're playing a lot of, I've talked about, they're playing a lot of 3 linebacker sets. Chaney's going to step right in the hole right here and take on Ben Tate right in the hole. Outstanding job by the middle linebacker. A lot of 3-down line, 3 linebacker stuff to counteract what Gus Malzahn is doing with his personnel groups. A lot of nickel sets. Wade Bonner in the game. The nickel back at the top of your screen, number 7, is in the game as the 5th defensive back.
On the snap. Goes awry. Tate falls on it. I believe it was headed Eric Smith's way, or at least it hit him on the side. Auburn lucky to fall on it here. Yeah, on the way by. That sets up 3rd and 10. Throwing out of the grasp, and it is incomplete. Mario Fannin was the intended receiver, just beyond his reach, but some big-time pressure.
Yeah, we mentioned Jamar Chaney. KJ Wright also coming. He's off the edge. He's out here. And there's Jamar Chaney, 22, coming through the middle. So all we had to do, evidently, is mention Jamar's name, and he's been in on the last 3 plays. But you saw the switch of the backs back there. Very interesting that they got Fannin to the right to give him the free release, and Tate was the protection guy. Maybe Mississippi State picked something up there.
Clinton Durst, who had a punt blocked early, they're going to fake it to McCaleb. And he's got the first down. Auburn's back in business, 1st and 10 at the Mississippi State 41-yard line.
Got a shift at the line of scrimmage. They shift over all the way over to their right side, and now only 1 defender left to the backside, and McCaleb will take those situations every time. Chris Cameron, the freshman, was left to the backside, and
well, he was on an island.
He sure was. And very interesting, the set was to the left, which means the punter would have had to run to the left to kick the football. And very interesting scenario there as we get a flag down.
Five-yard penalty. Made first down.
A delay of game on the offense.
Well, they got a first down, so they immediately spot the ball ready for play. Let's go down to Jen Hildreth on the sideline.
Well, just another little story about Ontario McCaleb for you guys. I thought this was great talking to Gus Malzahn. He said he has a burst reminiscent of Felix Jones. That was impressive. Then he told us, and then he told me a story the other day about how he went and caught a squirrel on his way to class. I thought that was pretty funny. Ontario said, yeah, I did it growing up. I was bored.
Well, it says something about his quickness, doesn't it?
Todd. Down the sideline, incomplete. And through the hands of Damian Anderson.
Just a 2-man route that time by Auburn. You wonder, well, why has Todd got so much time to throw? Just a 3-man rush from Mississippi State and just a 2-man route. So all that protection in there for Todd and really no place to throw it. A lot of players in coverage for Mississippi State.
2nd and 15. Todd will throw to Tate. Incomplete. Despite the fact it was behind the line. Some bad news for Auburn. Their great blocking tight end, Tommy Trott, has been lost to injury. A knee injury, Jen Hildreth tells us. That is one of their great veterans up front.
Yeah, leader, guy that's been here for a long time, played since he was a young guy, a freshman. That'll force another freshman in, Philip Lutzenkirchen.
Todd under pressure, throws it away. Zachary, the intended receiver.
Another pressure from Jamar Chaney.
So now the Tigers will kick it away. And there's Tommy Trott, and that ice to the right knee.
Well, you see the brace on the other knee. He's had a knee injury prior. It was on the other leg. So, but he's a veteran leader, and now he will have to help the youngster, Philip Lutzenkirchen, from Marietta, Georgia, Lassiter High School.
Berry makes the grab at the 13. We have a timeout. 9:01 to go in the third, 28-17.
Fred Hickman with a studio update. That Carolina-Georgia game late in the second quarter, 24-23 Georgia. Joe Cox, 9 yards to A.J. Green. It's now 31-23 at the halftime break. Still got time to thumb it in. Our question, the best running back in SEC history. Bo Jackson, Jamal Lewis, Darren McFadden, Emmett Smith, Herschel Walker. 76884 is where you text it. Remember, standard text messaging plates do apply.
Thank you, Fred. After all the fireworks in the first half here, a sluggish start, but this is a big possession for Mississippi State at this end of the field.
Huge drive. Need to flip the field here. Cannot go forward to go 3 and out. Why not give it to the big fella?
And the big fella responds with a 10-yard pickup on first down. Anthony Dixon with Chris Relf in at quarterback.
Now the big fella has carried the load since they got down 14-0 to Auburn. It's been Anthony Dixon has been their key weapon. And a big run on first down there.
18 carries, 88 yards for Dixon. On the outside, a bad pitch. And it was thrown forward, so it goes as an incomplete pass.
Boy, they had it set up too. They went option, lead option, or not lead option, but dive option to the left side out of the gun. And Relf actually does a great job of pulling the defenders to him. Now pitch the ball. And he waited too long. He gets hit by Bates, the safety. Had he been able to get that football out there, Stallworth had all sorts of running room.
2nd and 10. Maintains his balance to make it a sizable gain. Freeman knocked him off his pin.
Freeman's going to get credit for the tackle, but a great block by Dupree on Freeman. Kind of upended Freeman, and Freeman got around the legs of Relf as he fell forward. But good job to get it into a 3rd down situation. Very manageable now. 3rd and about a long 3.
Takes it away from Dixon. And that will be close.
They needed to get just over the 33-yard line. About a football over the 33, and it looks like they're going to spot it right on the 33. That's going to be short of the first down based on looking at the sticks across the way.
4th down 1.
Well, they picked up some good yardage, but not nearly enough to tilt that field.
Now, that's something the big fella learned, that when you got 3, you really need to get downhill. A little bit of a stutter step there allowed Bynes to get him on the ground.
Washington. Oh, the white shirts all around, a loose ball. And Auburn's got it. Washington was able to recover. A timeout. 6:43 remaining. Third quarter from the Plains. 28-17. We are back in Auburn, and it's 28-17. The Tigers with the lead. And very fortunate was Auburn on this last punt.
Yeah, I want you to watch 42 Zach Smith here. The reaction, he makes a great play on special teams, and the ball goes right back. And there's our Chick-fil-A nugget of the game. Auburn almost extended that streak. 18 consecutive games, they've turned the football over one time. It almost happened right there to make it 19.
Tate, big hole, straight ahead over the 25 to the 27. Like a lot of great actors, a late entrance into this game by Ben Tate. But he's done some good running. Now he's up to 9 carries for the night and close to 60 yards.
Well, what he's been, and he gets a carry again here, is he's been a major factor in the game for Auburn from a physical standpoint. They were getting a lot of edge plays with Fannin and with McCaleb, but when Tate came in the game, they established the physical downhill running game, and he's done an excellent job of that. He also done a nice job in pass protection for Chris Todd.
To the outside. And Tate pushed out just shy of midfield. The senior from Maryland. A 21-yard gain.
Well, 3 consecutive runs for Ben Tate. That starts inside. He gets a great block right at the point by Mike Berry, and then slides to the outside. And that's where he talked about, hey, I got a little shiftiness to me, too. Now, you know, I'm just all thunder.
And he keeps pounding away, again getting to the corner and to the 47.
Well, Bob, this is what we talked about from the opening. We talked about key to these two teams was their running game. Anthony Dixon, Christian Decree, Ontario McCaleb, and Ben Tate, and that's what we've seen.
Eric Smith is the injured Tiger. Chris White, the Mississippi State linebacker, ended up on him. See what happens here at the end of the play. Here's Smith trying to throw that block, and then Chris White on top of him.
There's Chris White, linebacker. Another junior college transfer for this team. I asked, looks like he's okay. Looked like just the wind knocked out Eric Smith. He's the guy that made the big play on special teams earlier on a kickoff coverage, so important cog in several areas. But talking about the junior college transfer, I asked Dan Mullen before the game, what, other than being able to coach in the SEC, which obviously might be a dream for any head football coach to be a head football coach in this league, what was it drew you to Mississippi State? And he says the talent in Mississippi. And it's the junior college group in Mississippi, tremendous talent there. Dan excited about that.
Tate wrapped up and driven back, and a penalty flag. KJ Wright and Sean Ferguson combined.
And not just the JC transfers, of course. There's a tremendous amount of young kids playing high school football in Mississippi.
He's got a bunch of them on his team. Face mask, number 99 of the defense. The penalty is 15 yards, give him the run, and it goes automatic first down.
Ferguson grabbed the mask. Yes, he did.
Well, that didn't look like a mask. Looked like the lower part of the.
Well, even the chin strap this year.
Well, that certainly was that. All right, Mr. Rules book. I was going to let him get away with that.
Auburn keeps it on the ground, and Tate keeps those powerful legs churning.
Brought down by number 50, Chris White.
Again, Mike Berry Doing a good job. 66. You're going to see him come around the corner here. There he is. Gets the block on Jamar Chaney. Keeps pushing. And then Ben Tate with the power gets in behind.
Big Mike Berry, the right guard.
And if you ask Gene Chizik, this is what he's talking about. Physical play in late in games. We're deep into the third quarter now, and they're physically now starting to impose themselves on Mississippi State.
Now McCaleb. And the Bulldogs have him covered. And a penalty flag. Bonner and Washington with the tackles.
Boy, Bonner does a great job of playing this. Plays off the block and strings McCaleb out. And then maybe a late block by
Personal foul, face mask on the defense, number 18. Penalty being enforced, half the Mississippi goal, automatic first down.
Marcus Washington gets flagged for the face mask, and they don't see the late block. Great job by Bonner, number 7. Plays out the play. I didn't see a face mask there. Maybe Bonner a little bit. There's the late hit on Zach Smith. Watch 42, Zach Smith. He comes up inside from safety. Now he's going to try to keep contained. Now watch the late hit right there. They didn't see that. They saw the face mask.
Burns to throw it. Wide open. Touchdown. And the new tight end, Philip Lutzenkirchen, with the touchdown grab.
How about that? His first catch as an Auburn Tiger is a touchdown. Philip Lutzenkirchen, mentioned a freshman from Lassiter High School. I talked to Philip earlier before the game, and he was concerned about how his high school did last night. The Lassiter Trojans beat the Kell Longhorns and extended their record to 3-0. That's what he was excited about. But he gets that. This one will top that, I think. A touchdown on his first reception as an Auburn Tiger.
And the kick pushes the lead to 18.
Well, we've seen Cody run it out of this, and this is what makes him so dangerous in the Wildcat, is he is a quarterback. Played quarterback on this team the last 2 years, and he can throw it. And certainly if you get a guy that wide open, and good job by Lutzenkirchen to sell run, because he had to do that first and then slip out on the corner route. He had a monster year last year as a senior, 72 receptions, over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. So he's kind of used to getting the football down in the red zone.
And again, the Auburn Tigers, Jen Hildreth, getting great mileage from Cody Burns.
Well, Cody Burns and that Wildcat formation Gus Malzahn likes to throw out there. Wasn't it interesting, guys, when we talked to him, that really this formation was kind of born with him back at Arkansas in 2006 when he had Darren McFadden. I said, what's the key to making it work? He said, well, you've got to have a guy who's a run-pass threat, and it really helps if they're a good decision maker, obviously as Burns is with that quarterback history.
Boy, and they had no idea when Gus was talking about everything that went on at Arkansas with Darren McFadden, and they kind of fell into that. They said they wanted to get McFadden the football, so they snap it to him, and then he said, Coach, I can throw it. And he started throwing it. I think he threw 8 touchdowns in his career there. And then he started handing it to another guy named Felix Jones, and they're trying to duplicate that here. And boy, Cody Burns is so dangerous throwing the football with his ability to run it.
35-17. And this one goes out of bounds, so Mississippi State will get it out at the 40. Time now for our
kick out of bounds.
Well, we have a penalty.
The kicking team.
And that's
the ball
on
will be
the
placed
kick.
at the 40-yard line. 1st and 10.
Gene Chizik gave us our Geico quote of the week. Of course, he comes as the head man here and before this Iowa State after a magnificent career as a defensive coordinator. And his quote was, I'm simply going to be another set of eyes that can intelligently look at a defense and be able to help. There's a huge, huge difference between helping and meddling. I don't want to be a meddler.
Well, it's pretty easy not to meddle when you got a guy like Ted Roof right there, your defensive coordinator, and you got Gus Malzahn as your offensive coordinator. in trusted hands. That man right there can coach, flat coach defense.
Tyson Lee at quarterback for the Bulldogs. They've trailed 14-0 and now 35-17. Had a lead in between. And the pass is going to be incomplete down the sideline. And it was Marcus Green, the intended receiver, their tight end.
Boy, they had that set up really well. They'd run the football extremely well coming into this. And they get a little play fake right here to Dixon. And now they've got the wheel route. Smith headed up the side. I'm sorry, Marcus Green headed up the sideline. And all Tyson Lee needed to do was just a little bit of air under the ball. Let him run to it. A little too flat with the throw. They had a big play right there.
Green caught a touchdown pass from Chris Relf in last week's win over Jackson State. Tipped, incomplete, going Dixon's way.
Well, what's happened now with Auburn jumping out now 35-17. It's going to begin to force Mississippi State's hand a little bit, and they're going to have to start getting a little bit more aggressive with play calling. Not going to be able to lean on the running game as much. Dixon and Dupree are outstanding receivers outside, but they're more three-count screen where you show drop back and drop it to them as opposed to slip screen or speed screen like that one was.
Dave, the circumstances of the game taking Mississippi State out of its comfort zone?
No question, but these quarterbacks are going to have to step up.
Just nothing doing. The Auburn defense right there.
Well, once again, Mullen decides to move the quarterback. Good pressure from Clayton and Goggins as they get over there and get on the quarterback. But good job by Roof to understand that, hey, when they move the quarterback, I got to stay on coverage. McFadden does an outstanding job on the outside working against O'Neal Wilder. And really no place to throw it.
Devon Washington, the deep man for the Tigers. And a flag stops it at 3:01 here in the third quarter.
Encroachment on the offense, number 7, 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
That's an interesting call. Normally, Wade Bonner is one of the gunners or the outside guys on the punt team. Normally, when you line up there, it's like a wide receiver. You look out and you look at watch. You'll look out and make sure, okay, am I okay? And normally they do that, and the referee will nod and say, you're fine. I really didn't get that.
Washington kept his balance to the 27. Well, we've talked a lot about Cody Burns tonight. He has given us our Jaguar Performer of the Game, brought to you by the new Jaguar. Rushing, 2 touchdowns, and passing. Hey, it's just not Tebow that can do these things.
No, and let's not forget on the long Ontario McCaleb touchdown run, he had the key block on the edge that sprung him there. So our Jaguar Performer of the Game, Cody Burns, he's done it all tonight.
And Moore tucks it away and takes off. And that will be a first down.
Well, we talked about Cody and what he was able to do to step up for this team as a leader and really, say what he said to his team. But the second part of that had to happen was these two guys had to perform in the positions they were now put in, and both of them have done that.
To the 40 goes McCaleb.
That would not have been as rosy a story had both of them, or had Chris Todd not played quarterback as well as he has here in the first 7 quarters of football, if you will, of the season, and how Cody has been effective in his role. So credit the 2 players for playing their positions as well.
Todd rolling and looking, throwing, open. And the catch made out of bounds. Jay Wisner. It's his first grab of the year, the junior. 25-yard pickup.
What a great wrinkle from Gus Malzahn. Little move the quarterback to the right. He's got 3 receivers on that side. Wisner just slips up the sideline and just is not accounted for in coverage. A good read from Todd.
Tate. Burst through. He's gone. Touchdown. He waited for that hole to open. He was gone. 35-yard touchdown run.
Mike Berry, number 66. We've been talking about him. You're also going to get a block from Byron Isom, 57. The 2 guards. The 2 guards pull out in front. It's the old Vince Lombardi call. We're going to put a seal here. We're going to put a seal here. We're going to run the ball in the alley.
Byron's kick, 42-17.
Now we talk about the 2 guards, 66 and 57. Here they are side by side. Now watch these blocks. Tate's going to gear it down and then gas it right there behind the 2 blocks. Outstanding job. Great athleticism from 2 guys. One 6'3", 290. The other one 6'3", 310. Getting out in front and clearing the way for Ben Tate.
Tate has had a night. 14 carries, 132 yards. Our Polaris hardest working player.
And I would really credit Ben Tate coming into the game to really, when Auburn was able to take this game over physically. They began running the football downhill with Ben Tate pulling the guards. He was a key to the football game for Auburn to take over. Auburn was playing pretty even up to that point. But to me, Tate was the key to the physical part of the game changing in Auburn's favor.
The Tigers have put 2 touchdowns on the board here in the 3rd quarter to expand their halftime lead. Now 42-17. And Mississippi State is really up against it now. And keep in mind, when you look at Ben Tate's night and his numbers, he did not play in the 1st quarter. Berry has to go back and gather it. Rolls off a couple of tacklers, keeps rolling over the 40 to the 43. Turned out to be a pretty good return.
Boy, Berry, he's got the ability. I said it before, this kid is going to take one back. He was a prolific returner in junior college, and he just has a knack for returning kicks. Long strider, but boy, he's got a knack for hitting the hole. Big opportunity or big situation here for Mississippi State. They have to stem the title of it. Only 33 yards of offense in the 2nd half for Mississippi State.
Chris Ralph is your quarterback. And the give is to Stallworth. You talk about a young man who has stuck with it and persevered. He's had surgery every year he's been at Mississippi State. Late March of this year, tore the ACL in his right knee, just the latest in a string of injuries. And the young man back last week, 31 yards, and then ran the ball 3 more times to catching passes. He has shown his teammates perseverance. A timeout has been taken by the Bulldogs with 30 seconds remaining in this 3rd quarter. It's the 1st of 2 on the road for Mississippi State, and we will follow them next week into Nashville. Join us for SEC College Football Saturday when the Mississippi State Bulldogs travel to Vanderbilt to take on the Commodores. Game time, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central in high definition. And we were talking about the new young stars in the SEC, and here's 2 more great running backs.
Yeah, Zach Stacy Warren, Norman, two young kids that mirror as the size, 5'10", about 190. One from Alabama, Centerville, Alabama, Bibb County High School. The other from Stone Mountain, Georgia, Chamblee High School. Those two kids really lit it up last week, and they're doing battle with the Tigers right now.
Boy, good ball game in Baton Rouge. 16-9 LSU in the fourth quarter. Georgia now up 15 on South Carolina, and Alabama has taken control of that game with Florida International. Dixon met when he was handed the football. El Toro Freeman. And the Tigers are thrilled to have him back. Hand injury, hamstring injury in camp. Didn't play last week against Louisiana Tech. This is his Auburn debut tonight. And he's trying to get the crowd back into this game.
He's jacked up to be back out there, isn't he?
Oh, it's fun to play. That's the end of the third quarter. And it has been a night for the Auburn faithful. Couple of touchdowns here in the fourth. One on the ground, one in the air. And Auburn leads it 42-17. Southeastern Conference football is brought to you by O'Charley's, by Regions Bank, and by Honda Generators. The final 15 minutes of football at Jordan-Hare. Bob Rathman, Dave Archer, Jen Heldreth. 42-17 Auburn. Mississippi State with the ball, 3rd and 6. Complete over the middle. And that is into Auburn territory. Brandon McCray the catch, and Nico Thorpe the tackle. But that's not, or is it? Yes, it is enough for a first down. And our Charlie's fan of the game, bringing that hard hat to work tonight. He's had a lot to cheer about. Wonder how he got those beads, David.
It looked like if that's his boy sitting there, he's a little disgusted that he took his helmet from him.
As the receiver had his back to the play and incomplete. McCray was the intended receiver.
He gets good pressure from Blank up the middle, and they wanted a little out and up type play, and as a young quarterback, Ralph, you can't make this throw. You're going to have to go ahead and eat it, take the sack, or you got to throw it out of bounds. You cannot throw the ball out there to a receiver that's running an up and out.
Now, Walter McFadden was right there.
And 9 quarterback pressures now on Ralph and Tyson Lee for the Auburn Tigers.
And that's outstanding. Dixon. 3rd and long coming up. Craig Stevens, yet another tackle. That's his 7th of the night. He had 8 last week against Louisiana Tech to tie a career high.
Now, as a linebacker for a team playing Mississippi State, you better be able to make some tackles because you're going to have to. You got 2 backs that are going to get to that second level, and as a linebacker, you better really step to fill the hole. Stevens, Bynes, Herring, they've done a great job. Arturo Freeman, they've done an excellent job.
4 receivers. Dixon now getting set at the snap. Ralph unloads to the near side. Bumpus, haven't seen him all night. And Bumpus to the 36. The freshman from Tupelo, who had such a big game last week.
Yeah, a little surprised we hadn't seen Bumpus. He's a guy that caught 2 touchdown passes last week, and he has that explosive ability. He is a home run type player. He's a guy that Coach Mullen is extremely excited about. He said that, you know, Bumpus did the right thing on the 2 touchdown passes, but made a number of mistakes, as freshmen will, on other plays in the game, and that might have limited some of his play time tonight.
Bumpus was the only freshman in the country to catch 2 touchdown passes last week. Ralph now back to pass, sets and throws. And it's complete. Berry still going, did not go out of bounds. Terrific effort, gets it inside the 5.
Well, this is a tremendous job by Ralph to hold the ball. This is a play that's going to take some time. And El Toro Freeman is going to get the pressure, the late hit right there, the late pressure on Ralph. Watch Ralph wait. He's got to wait. He knows he's going to get hit. He waits for Berry to clear. And then we talked about this guy's ability to run with the football. He is something.
First and goal, Mississippi State at the 3. Leon Berry Jr. from Griffin, Georgia, junior college transfer. Ralph calls his own number to the 1.
Kind of the off tackle, quarterback power off tackle play. That play very similar to what you would see Florida run with Tim Tebow. Ralph is a big athlete at 6'3", 235 pounds, and he had 82 yards rushing last week, and he's had a couple of big carries tonight. But this has got to be Anthony Dixon time, I would think.
Nothing for Ralph.
Well, they motioned Dixon out of the backfield, and Ralph is a little slow getting up.
So while Dan Mullen looks at his play card, he's got his quarterback just now getting to his feet.
Yeah, to me, that is the epitome of what you see. You know, you see Tim Tebow carry the ball inside, and I don't mean to get on Tim Tebow here now all of a sudden, but there's a guy at 6'3", 240 pounds or 235 pounds pounding it inside, and you see the rough play that's in it. It's a context, it's a collision sport. And that's what amazes me about what Tebow's able to do running the football. Very similar body size as this young man, Chris Ralph.
Derek Likes was also shaken up on the play for Auburn, number 97. So Ralph comes out. And Tyson Lee goes under center. Looks, throws, touchdown. Christian Dupree out of the backfield to make the grab, and that keeps hope alive for Mississippi State.
Excellent job by Anthony Dixon, who had carried the ball 4 times out of the wishbone earlier in the game, gets the key block, and Dupree slips into the flat. Outstanding pass receiver, good throw from Tyson Lee. Good job by Lee to stay ready. Ralph goes down with, that was his drive. He goes down with the injury. Lee comes right in and shoots it out there in the flat for the touchdown.
Sean Broccoli puts it through. And with 11:15 remaining in the game, Auburn's lead has been cut. Lee, Dupree, 42-24. We welcome you back to our coverage of SEC football. Here's what's happened tonight. A wild one here on the Plains. 42-24, Auburn leading, as Mississippi State gets on the board for the first time since late in that second period, when that 17-point flurry gave them the lead, only to see Auburn score 2 more touchdowns. Dixon, 20 carries, 92 yards. Burns is accounted for 3 touchdowns tonight, 2 on the ground and 1 in the air. Christian Dupree with a touchdown reception moments ago. Fannin from the 1. Out to the 25. Time for the Tigers to eat some clock.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see now if Mississippi State can swell up against the run, because that's what Auburn's going to try to do. And really, Auburn is taking the game over physically a little bit here in the second half with Ben Tate and their big offensive line coming off the ball. So really no secret of what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to run the football here.
Let's go down to the field to Jen.
Well, I was just standing behind the Auburn bench while Ted Roof had the entire Auburn defense gathered up. The one player I saw talking, the guy we talked about earlier, Antonio Coleman, who needed to step up and be more of a leader. That's what Tracy Rocker told him. At least on the sideline so far, it looked like he was trying to get his troops ready, guys.
Cody Burns takes it out to the 29.
Well, Antonio Coleman, we talked about his leadership and his ability to make plays himself, and he made a huge one tonight in the interception return for a touchdown. But now he realizes that you get to this point in the game now you got to close the show. And that's what he's trying to encourage his defense to do. His defense let them go down the field and score. He wants them to tighten up now. We need to close the show is what he's telling them.
McCaleb. If you're just joining us tonight, you missed that pick for 6. Our Auto Owners Insurance defensive coverage play.
Yeah, zone blitz here. Coleman drops from his defensive in spot into coverage. And then the big man shows the athleticism to lay out and get in the end zone. Really good job of reading the quarterback's eyes, elevates, and, big hands. Good hands for a big fella. 6'3", 255 pounds, goes up and gets it.
And Tate over the 35 to the 38.
Well, there's your first opportunity there for Mississippi State defensively to get a stop. They did not do it. Antonio Coleman learned a lot of his trade. Now Rocker's here helping him now, but Quentin Groves, the all-time sack leader here, really spent a lot of time with him as a youngster.
Mississippi State making the play. Sean Ferguson, number 99, breaking through.
That's what they needed here on defense. They needed to make a play on first down. Put Mississippi State, or put Auburn a little behind the 8 ball here on second down.
2nd and 12.
Adjusting to what they see defensively from Mississippi State.
Tate. Jump on his back, Zach Smith.
Boy, he got another good block out on the edge. Jack Smith gets the tackle, but it's the block from the right out on the edge, and we're just past that point here. Here's Zach Smith trying to wrap up Ben Tate, and I don't think you go high, but there's the block. Zachary, the wide receiver, and boy, that's close to a block coming back to the inside. Illegal to go low on a guy back to the inside, but he was lined up over Zachary, and the cut block is okay there. But a good block to spring Ben Tate around the edge. We've seen a number of plays like that, and that's good coaching. When you start talking about receivers making blocks, that's how you make big plays. Big runs come because guys are making extra effort down the field. We've seen that from the receivers tonight for Auburn.
McCaleb. That's the traffic clear and heads to the sideline. We're talking about Ben Tate. He's got 107 yards in the second half.
Yeah, and that
149 for the night.
That just talks about, Bob, what we talked about, where Ben Tate really kind of, with his big fellas up front and the guys out blocking, it takes a whole team to run the football, but it really has changed since Ben Tate's been in the game from a physical standpoint.
Both he and McCaleb going over 100 yards tonight. Fannon's in the backfield now as Chris Todd gets the play call. And I think the play clock ran out on him.
Well, Gene Chizik ran down the sideline and gassed the line judge for a timeout.
Yep, he got it in time.
We're going to have to get our crack research unit together and start researching when was the last time Auburn had back-to-back games with 100-yard rushers, 200-yard rushers. So
we're headed to the books as we speak.
Fred Hickman here with a studio update. Remember when it was 14-13 Florida International? Well, not anymore. Terry Grant breaking this one off. 42 yards. The Tide now rolling with 27 unanswered points, 40-14. Respect the element. Thumbing it in, we asked you who the best running back in SEC history is, and 72% of you going with Bo Jackson. Right now, let's get you back to Auburn. Bob, Dave, and Jen.
Bo Jackson.
Sounds like we got a few Auburn fans watching.
Yeah, I think so. How do you go wrong with that choice?
No, you couldn't go wrong with any of those guys.
7:56 left. Todd floats it, and up to get it, Terrell Zachary.
Now, this is a spectacular effort by Terrell Zachary to go get the football. He goes and gets it at his highest point, and as a defensive back in all your drills, you're always taught, go get the ball at the highest point. Well, Zachary beats Smith at his own game.
Tate lunging inside the 10 to the 8. Zachary last week caught a 93-yard touchdown pass that established an Auburn record for the longest touchdown in school history.
Well, they've got two good receivers. You were worried about the receivers here. Zachary and Adams, pretty good.
Gang tackled his Tate at they'll give him his progress to the 6. Here's that play from last week.
Yeah, 93-yard little pump and go. Outstanding protection, first of all, and a great throw, and then pretty easy for Zachary once he sucked it in to take it the distance. Longest play in Tiger history. I think there's going to be a few records fall with Gus Malzahn as the offensive coordinator here at Auburn.
Cody Burns in the Wildcat, looking, and takes it to the 2. Randy Cooper made the touchdown-saving stop. Cody Burns trying to orchestrate a 4th touchdown. He's rushed for 2 and passed for 1 so far. Zone. And it will be 2nd down and goal.
You can see how tough the kid is. Now, Burns is not the biggest guy in the world either. 6'2", about 210. But he's hitting it in there like he's 230. I think he's going to get one more crack at it.
Give him 6. Nice work if you can get it.
Yeah, well, he's got a group up front that's playing really physical. Mike Berry's had an outstanding game tonight. Another good block from him, Ryan Pugh. Outstanding job of Burns getting kind of doing a reverse Tim Tebow. Tebow threw 4 touchdown passes today and rushed for 1. Burns has now rushed for 3 and thrown 1.
Kyle Love is the injured Bulldog. The senior from Fairburn, Georgia.
Yeah, one of the real veterans in their defensive line. They can ill afford to lose Kyle Love. North Clayton High School, Fairburn, Georgia. Kid that's played in 32 games. This is his 33rd game as a Mississippi State Bulldog.
Burns and Todd. Look at their nights. Todd 10 of 23 for 186. And then Burns in there for the 4 touchdowns. Our region's little things add up, and don't they? Plus, you've got the great running game story as well for Auburn this evening. For Tate and McCaleb. 5:56 to play. 49-24 Tigers. Auburn ups the lead to 49-24 with 5:56 to play in the fourth quarter. And more on the Mississippi State perspective as we come down the final 6 minutes as they get set to take on Vanderbilt next Saturday. Let's get more on the Bulldogs story from Jen.
Well, I think the story for this team, I mean, the word that we heard and the phrase we kept hearing from all the players and coaches was that they needed to show a relentless effort to win. And I think the question for them now, and Dave, maybe you can comment on this, are we seeing the same effort now as when the Bulldogs were making that run in the second quarter?
Yeah, I don't think that they've quit by any stretch of imagination. I think they've continued to play extremely hard. I think that we have to remember that where Auburn is and where Mississippi State is in getting their culture changed is two different places.
Yes.
You know, and Mississippi State's got a lot more work to do. They've got some great talent on the field, and I still think that they are playing extremely hard, and they will play hard throughout the year. But I have not seen any kind of quit or lay down in them, and I don't think we ever will. And I think the relentless thing is still there.
Leon Berry keeps it rolling over the 30 to the 34-yard line. Zach Etheridge the tackle. Look at that Mississippi State bench, still engaged.
Well, and I think Dan wants them to feel this. I don't think that, you know, you lose some games and sometimes it gets to be a little bit of a feeling you get used to, and he doesn't want that. And he's trying to change the culture of these players. And there's a lot of talent on that bench. You got to get it going all in the same direction, and he will. But it takes a little time. You're going to have to take a couple on the chin and reinvest yourself in what's going on.
Well, throwing, and the catch is made by Winder. And that grab takes it over the 45 down to about the 41-yard line. O'Neal Wilder is a redshirt freshman who made his debut just last week.
Well, and they've got some monster receivers on this team. He's 6'5". McCray's 6'4". Bowser's 6'3". I mean, they've got some big receivers on this team.
Now Mississippi State takes a timeout with 5:19 to play.
This is a 30-second timeout
here in the fourth quarter. Auburn has snapped the football 74 times to Mississippi State's 56. Let's take a look at our HD plays of the game tonight. Phillips HD play right here to McCaleb.
Yeah, that's the McCaleb long touchdown run with some really good blocks out on the edge, Bob.
Bente waited for that hole to open, and off he was gone.
How about those two blocks by the big fellas out on the edge for Tate? I think the theme about those plays of the game right there are the extra effort by guys out on the edge that aren't carrying the ball.
Well, guns it, and it's intercepted. At the 19-yard line, Bell with the pickoff. To Charvin Bell, the freshman from Kissimmee, Florida. Loving life after the interception.
Yeah, trying to get the ball to Marcus Green over the middle, and this is going to be a learning process, and you'll see Dan Mullen probably talking to his quarterback right now. In fact, he is. He's talking to Ralph as he comes to the sideline. Just a little bit trying to force a little bit too much there, trying to make a little bit too much happen. And there's the conversation happened with his young quarterback. Learning process. Ralph has not played hardly at all in his career. He's going to be a good player. He's got a big arm. He's a great athlete, and he'll make some plays, but he's going to have to learn by fire, and you're going to have to throw a couple interceptions to learn things.
Neil Caudle is the new quarterback, and the handoff comes to Mario Fannin. Neil Caudle, the junior from Hoover, Alabama. Injury truncated time for this young man who grew up a big-time Auburn fan, and he's hung in there through all the injuries and setbacks. 4:45 and counting, fourth quarter, 49-24 Auburn. So Fannin getting the carry here, a flag on the play. And the hold will bring it back. A record-setting night here on the Plains for Ben Tate and Ontario McCaleb.
Now, see, I told you our crack staff would figure this out.
And they've had this ready, waiting for the right moment. The first time in Auburn history that they've had two guys to go over 100 yards in back-to-back games.
When you think about that, when you think about combos of backs, and the thing that shoots in my mind right away for Auburn is Ronnie Brown and Carnell Williams when they were here together. And those two guys did not go for 100 in back-to-back games together. They're two pretty good backs. They just happen to be making a living. They'll be making a living tomorrow for Tampa and for Miami.
And the man against whom all Auburn backs are measured.
Yeah, no question. You didn't hand the ball to anybody other than him when he was here.
Bo Jackson. Nick Bell was shaken up on the play, and he is being helped off the field. They need to wait a few more beats to let him get to the sideline.
He's one of those freshman football players that they're excited about. See Mullen concerned as he walks out and asks Nick Bell what's going on.
Last week, Auburn used Fannin as a receiver. And tonight, much more on the ground.
Yeah, Fannin, we talked about it early in the game, his versatility. He and Tommy Trott were the two leading receivers for this team coming back. Both of them had 20 receptions on the year last year. And then Fannin was the second leading rusher on this team last year. So Fannin's versatility of being able to fill in if Ben Tate or something were to happen to the running back, Fannin could easily slide from the slot back to the inside and run the football.
And another wounded Bulldog, and that's Carlin Brown.
Now what starts to happen is this is really in the second half become a very physical football game between Auburn's offense and Mississippi State's defense. And as you start to get a little fatigued, some of those injuries start creeping in a little bit.
Caudle heaves it, and it's going to be incomplete. And a penalty flag. Pass interference on Mississippi State.
And that's Zach Smith. And remember what happened to Zach Smith before when Zachary went up over him to make the play when he was trying to play the football. This time he doesn't play the football. He plays the man, and he's going to get flagged for the interference.
For those of you expecting to see Purdue and Oregon, that game will be coming up momentarily.
There are two fouls on the play. Offside, number 97 defense. That penalty's declined. Pass interference on the defense, number 42. That penalty is 15 yards in the previous spot and includes an automatic first down.
Auburn has really been rolling up the yards in these first 2 weeks of the season. 556 last week against Louisiana Tech. 562 and counting in this one.
Here's what happens. We look at Neil Caudle there, the quarterback. We get a shot of him standing there looking for the play on the side. Here's Neil Caudle. There's his mouth guard right there. Okay, when you're the backup quarterback, there's no reason for you to use the mouth guard. And now that he's in the game, he's forgotten that it's on his helmet. He has not used it since he came in the game. So now it's just kind of window dressing for him.
Just a bit. Cleats caught. And now with 3:41 to play, Auburn is confronted with a second and 4.
And Mississippi State has done a good job here. I think their staff has substituted a lot of their young players in on defense. So they've got a number of their second line guys in the game, getting them some game experience up front. And I think it's going to bode them well. You never know when injury's going to creep in. Be able to get these guys some valuable minutes against a team like Auburn is big.
Bandon reverses his field and dives into Mississippi State territory at the 46. First down, Auburn. The 29th Auburn first down. And this is going to push their rushing yardage to just under 400 for the night.
Well, Fannin trying to add his list to 100-yard rushers. Good block that time by the quarterback. Neil Cottle got out in front and blocked Terrell Johnson, the linebacker. He's going to start blocking people. He's going to need to put his mouth guard in.
17-yard pickup. And Auburn for the night at 386 rush yards. Nothing on this play. David, you talked about tomorrow, and of course that means the season begins with a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. First, the Cowboys take on the Buccaneers, and Brett Favre makes his Vikings debut battling the Browns. Redskins, Giants, 49ers, Cardinals, Rams, Seahawks. The game in your area. The coverage begins at noon tomorrow Eastern, 9 Pacific, with America's #1 pregame show. And then check the local listings for the game and start time in your area.
Boy, a number of interdivisional games there. You talk about the Redskins, Giants, to get off to an 0-1 start in the division, or 1-0, whichever it is. That's critical, and it's kind of like to play those later on in the year.
Eric Smith to the 49 of Mississippi State.
Number 32, Eric Smith, ball player. Tackle by number 50, Brandon Wilson.
49-24. Talked about Auburn's rushing yardage. They are closing in on a school record that ironically was set against the Bulldogs. Caudle unloads. He's got a man. Incomplete. Travante Stallworth was the man, and he nearly came up with a circus catch. No, we talked about Mississippi State. There's a penalty against Mississippi State. We talked about the Bulldogs at Vandy next week in our game. Here's what's coming up. Auburn opening with 4 straight at home. The Mountaineers come calling.
Well, and that's a game last year that Auburn really played well in the first half, and then all of a sudden Noel Devine took over in the second half with Pat White, and they end up blowing the Tigers out. But tough schedule with West Virginia coming here and then having to go on the road to play Tennessee in about 3 weeks.
Smith to the 37. So let's recap for you what's transpired today and tonight. A couple of finals to give you. LSU 23-9 over Vandy. Bama wins 40-14, and in Athens now a 1-point game with 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter at Sanford Stadium. 38-37.
Well, if anybody was wondering where the offense had gone for the Bulldogs and the Gamecocks, it arrived in Athens tonight.
Yeah, really? Auburn on 4th down, and they will turn it over on downs. Well, David Archer, what can you draw from what we've seen here tonight?
Well, I think that Auburn got what they wanted from a physical standpoint. It happened in the second half, and I think that they're certainly on the right track. There's a tremendous amount of talent on the other side of the field at Mississippi State, but they've got to find a way to get themselves in position to make some big plays. Didn't make enough big plays tonight. You heard Dan Millen talk about that right before the half with Jen Hildreth, that they need to make some more plays down the field. But they're a little bit younger than this Auburn team is, and so a little bit further to go for the Bulldogs, but they'll give some people some problems. Should be an outstanding game next week with Mississippi State traveling to Nashville to take on the Commodores. Good effort by Bobby Johnson's crew down in Death Valley against the Tigers tonight.
And Gene Chizik and his Auburn Tigers go to 2-0. Handshakes all around by the coaching staff as they put up 49 points and missed a school record on the ground by 13 yards. So Dan Mullen comes across the field to shake Gene's hand. And this one is in the books on the Plains. Our final score, Auburn 49 and Mississippi State 24. So Auburn goes to 2-0 and 1-0 in the SEC.
Well, with a big game coming up against West Virginia, so they're set up to where they want to be. They showed that physical play. Now Dan's got to take his team on the road, young team on the road again, and see if they can try to find their way into an SECW.
And we will follow them to Nashville next week. Join us again as we bring you SEC football, Mississippi State against Vanderbilt. And that is our SEC Saturday game beginning at 7 Eastern Time, 6 o'clock Central. For Dave Archer and Jen Hildreth and our entire crew from the Plains, this is Bob Rathman saying so long, everybody, from Auburn, Alabama. War Eagle, 49-24.